Yeah, quick update from me. So, in the last couple of days, I think we even tweeted about it. We finished the plan section of the UI. That's one of two videos that Fiona did, and we were going back and forth so many times, but I think we kind of now have it. And that's one of the things that was quite an effort. And now we're moving on to the user section, which will be basically like a wallet where people can send and receive money and have overview over their tokens, and how they earn from using dat or how they spend it for hosting data. But that's we already iterated over this in the past, but now we want to sum it up because we're on the current path to finish the entire UI and start implementing, or rather continue the implementation that we did until we stopped, in order to make a spec first, so that we have to do less of re-implementation all the time, because that's taking even more work. Other than that, I was helping Nina a little bit with brainstorming about how to debug or how to make a strategy for the streams that she's working on, to synchronize hypercores and get all our workflows implemented and refactored, so that we can then use state machines, which is what I'm still busy with. We are using XState. That's still the case. And I also spec'd most of the format of how we will define state machines. One thing that I'm wrestling with in the more recent past is, so first I have here some notes that I did in like a long time, not a long time ago, but like that's like a gist from notes that I did over the month, maybe even over the years, of how things could be maybe working using state machines and similar, and I'm taking some inspiration from it. But where we are currently is maybe that's supposed to be like a little high-level overview where we receive patches. We can replicate patches into a database, or we can get them from them. And those patches bring the database in a certain state. And if we have a database in a certain state, we can launch the app, and the app will already be in that particular state. Otherwise, while the app is running, it will at runtime receive messages, and also based on what's happening inside of the app, send messages. But of course, the app is an entire component tree, so each component inside is also receiving and sending messages. Now, when we have state machines, we define the possible transitions that are triggered based on messages. But if we have one specific transition and we listen to a specific message, I call that a gate. And that gate can then give responses. So in the end, when we return, we would say that's the response. For example, if you would have a promise state machine, the response would be resolve and reject. Now here, for this particular one, we use enter and some output. But inside of that gate, there can be a lot of data updates and certain other things happening. And that's kind of what I'm playing here, going through certain scenarios to try to nail down the syntax, including how to access history and how to access previous messages, and how to make that all as concise as possible, because of course it's always easy to make it verbose, but then it's just drowning everything in syntax. And that's the challenge, and I hope that I will finish with this message handlers soon. And I already in the past, before I started the message handlers, did like a little iteration on JSON pointers, because that's what we would use to specify what data can be accessed in a given message handler, and also what permissions maybe message handlers need in order to access certain data and certain messages. But yeah, and in order to transition from one